Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, glad to have you as part of the family, and if you're returning, hey, good to see you again. So tonight guys, this video we are talking about when it is time for you to seek professional help, and we are talking about professional help right across the board. However, this video will be focused on mental health symptoms, so such as not sleeping, mood fluctuation, inability to focus, those kind of symptoms that are more geared towards mental health issues and not so the medical side. However, the underlying message from this video does fits into all of the other categories. So when in doubt, don't overlook the symptoms that you are seeing. Very often we hold dearly to our traditions, our upbringings, such as you may be from a country where you don't really take medication for a headache, and you may have some tea, and there are certain rituals that you may be accustomed to in your culture or from your country or wherever you're from. However, I want you to be able to be mindful of those symptoms and when they are now out of your hands. When that headache is no longer a minor headache and it is now something outside of your scope where you may need to seek professional help. If you are having certain mood fluctuation, at what point do you seek professional help to see if it is something past just that mood? So guys, that is what this video will be about. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. The first one on the list is difficulty sleeping. Guys, this is a big one. A lot of times people may think that, hey, I'm having insomnia or whatever the case is, and you can't fall asleep right now. But if that is occurring more than one time for the week, and you're having a lot of tossing and turning throughout the night, that may be something you don't want to overlook, right? Because a lack of sleep can affect your mental health negatively. Stress and fast-paced lifestyle can also impact your sleep pattern, right? So a study, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of facts right here. A study published by the Sleep Medicine conducted in November 2021 on 22,230 participants in 13 countries, and this was all done on adults, reported that 1 in 3 participants had clinical insomnia symptoms, and nearly 20% met the criteria for insomnia disorder. And I'm going to drop the link down there. It's to columbiapsychiatry.org. I'm going to drop the link down there so you guys can go over and check that out. But guys, that number is significant. We're talking about 22,230 participants, and 1 in every 3 met the criteria for insomnia. So that's a big factors. Now, we also need to know that there may be multiple factors that impacts those symptoms, right? Because that can be medical issues, that can be medications that someone is taking. And based on what I saw, they did not reveal in depth which of the participants were on medications that could impact their sleep, or who had mental health illnesses that were impacting their sleep, or people who did not have any mental health issues, did not have any medical issues, and their sleep were also impacted. So we don't know all of the detail. So factor that in when you're looking at this study. But I do think that the numbers were still large for 1 in every 3 participants. So that's the first thing, difficulty sleeping. We don't want to overlook that one. Number 2 is going to be appetite changes that results in unwanted weight loss or weight changes, right? And listen, I know a lot of times people may be going through some things that may impact their appetite, where they may not have an appetite to eat at that particular moment. So we're not talking about that. Like if you are sick right now in the moment and it's impacting your weight, that's not what we're referencing. What we're referencing to is unwanted. There's just a vast shift in your appetite, and then the weight is just all over the place, right? Your appetite can change from day to day. You need food to nourish your body. So if you find that you've gone more than a week with not eating as you should, don't take that lightly, guys, right? Your appetite changes are common markers in major depressive disorder and anxiety, as well as increased stress or grief. So we do understand that when people are grieving, some people may not have an appetite to eat. So that's more of a given. When we're hurting, if we're having relationship issues where we are hurting, that sometimes we may not eat during that period of time. However, you don't want to overlook just out of the blue appetite changes, because that again may be major depressive related, and we do know that with major depression you can be having recurring major depressive symptoms without even knowing it. So we don't want to overlook that one. Psychological changes are triggered in our bodies when we encounter traumatic events to help the body deal with that pressure. So when you have encountered something traumatic, that may change the course of our appetite. So in those situations, yes, but again, we're talking about just out of the blue where you don't have an appetite, there weren't any traumatic events, there weren't any grief or loss or stuff like that, and then you're just not eating and the weight is just, your weight is being affected. One simple step that can be taken to seeking help is assessing the cause of your decreased appetite. And I just said that we want to assess that, because if there's a traumatic event, we may automatically assess the situation and know that, okay, the person's appetite or changes in appetite is due to this traumatic event. But with major depressive disorders, those can come at any given time with no warning, no traumatic event, no crisis, no nothing. Boom, you're just depressed. So we want to make sure we get assessed, and if this is occurring over a period of time, do definitely seek professional help. You can go to a psychologist or a psychiatrist to get an evaluation done, or you can go see a local counselor therapist so that they can do a minor assessment on the situation for you and then make a recommendation to go see a psychiatrist. Right? So do seek a professional help right away, especially if you start to lose rapid weight. Number 3 is struggling to get out of bed because of mood fluctuation. Guys, it can be challenging to engage with the world when you struggle with mood fluctuation. It is not the best space to be in when you have mood fluctuation. 1 minute you're up, next minute you're down. So don't take that for granted. You may find yourself laying in dark rooms with the curtains pulled, especially if it's broad daylight with sun outside, and you find that you are struggling to get out of bed, struggling with your hygiene. This can be a sign of depression and maybe a mental health issues such as bipolar disorder. So definitely assess these. Don't sweep them under the rug. Don't just say it's one of those days, because we are famous for saying that. Sometimes we're not very mindful of the changes that are occurring around us, and we sweep things under the rug until they get bigger. So creating a routine may help, but seeking professional help to provide you with more clarity and guide you into the right direction to addressing this is the key to understanding and to getting this under control. Number 4 is going to be difficulty concentrating. Now, guys, I know oftentimes we associate difficulty focusing with ADHD, especially in children. However, adults have difficulty focusing, right? And a lot of times people may say, oh, I am multitasking. Multitasking is no, because there's no such thing as multitasking in my book. You're leaving one thing to do the next thing, because you're not doing the same 2 things at the same time, where you're doing this and doing that, right? So this can be the cause of multiple issues, right? When you have difficulties focusing, it can be medical, it can be cognitive, and it can be psychological, right? So you definitely don't want to overlook this one, because it's not just children that have difficulties focusing. And we do have ADHD in adults. ADHD is primarily a diagnosis done in children, but adults do have difficulties focusing and can be diagnosed with ADHD. So don't overlook that, especially if you find that you're not being able to complete your task, and tasks are being they're piled up, they're not getting done, or you're half-assing them. That's how I think they say it, half-assing them. You want to get professional help. Seek professional help for that. Number 5 is going to be loss of interest in doing things you usually find enjoyable. Guys, again, this may be another sign of depression. When you start to lose interest in doing the things that gave you or provided you with comfort, that is a big issue. We don't want to overlook that at all, right? Because there might be some things that are going on down there. We may be suppressing some emotions, suppressing feelings, and we don't want that to fester into anything bigger or worse down the line, and then we're struggling to get that fixed. Number 6 is going to be, and this is my final one, guys, because this is a short video. Next one is going to be inability to perform daily functioning and responsibilities. So for those of you that are in the counseling field, we call that your ADLs, activities of daily living. Your ADLs, if you find that you're not being able to complete your ADLs, that's a big red flag. You want to stop in your tracks and you want to reassess it, and you want to get back to the drawing board to see, hey, what's causing this? And we're talking about your daily ADLs, your hygienes, your grooming, you're brushing your teeth, combing your hair, washing your, I'm not going to say it, but wash it up yourself, right? So, and that can be a factor of many things, right? Maybe a deteriorating health, maybe aging, maybe mental health illness, maybe trauma, maybe grief and loss, but we have to be able to assess it. But again, we are assessing those unexpected changes, not those pinpointing events that something has happened and we can pinpoint and say, hey, this may be the direct cause of why this is happening. But again, we want to assess where these are coming from. So for your ADLs, for your daily functioning, stuff like that, that should have been my number 1. In truth and reality, that should have been my number 1, because if you're not exercising proper hygiene, you're going to smell. That's the first thing. People are going to look at you and all the 9 yards. ADLs can be a lot of causes, or there may be multiple causes to that, such as aging, depending on the person's age, mental health, medication, stuff that you're taking. So do not, guys, overlook these stuff, because one day you may be okay and tomorrow something may come up that did not happen yesterday, and you want to be mindful, you want to be paying attention to these things, so that when you do seek professional help, you can give clear, concise information about when your symptom starts, how long your symptoms have been going on, how often they are recurring. So we're looking at time, frequency, and duration when you are being assessed for these things. So being able to write these things down and to be mindful will help your psychologist, your therapist, your doctor, or any other professionals to help determine the best diagnosis for the problem and the best course of action. So guys, go ahead, continue this conversation down below. If there's something that I left out, if there are any good ones, pointers, drop it down below so that we can engage with each other and we can continue this conversation. Guys, thank you for stopping by. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, turn your notification on. Go ahead and become a part of the family. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.